the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on a Thursday morning. We are glad that you join us each and every day, wherever and whenever it is that you join us here on the Auburn Blitz and making Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. Brett and Randy to get you started. Faith will jump in here in just a little bit, hoping to have a special guest too a little bit later on the podcast. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on. But Randy, good to see you to get things started here on a Thursday morning.
Well, glad to be seen, Brett. Beautiful day outside, getting a little cooler. I walk in this morning for the first time. I'll go ahead and put a date on this. First time the heater's running in the back. And, after that summer session in the screen printing, if any of you have ever been in a screen printing business, the summer months.
Not sure many people watching have been in a screen.
Well, if you're from Elliott City, you would be shocked, Brett, how many people in the community you and I grew up in worked inside the printing department at some point in time. Now, a lot of them, they were 17 or 18, but it's like you crawling under houses doing electrical work for the few months that you did it. You'll never forget it.
I'll never forget it.
I hear that story from you all the time, but there's a lot of mine and your dad's generation that their first job was in that hot box over at Russell. Either cleaning out printing machines or something. So trust me, it's scalding hot. So when the heater comes on for the first time, we kind of send a hallelujah up in the air.
After you've endured that much heat all year, then you ready to cut the heater on? I mean, I don't understand. But anyway, you think you cherish the coolness anyway. But hey, talking about the heat, there's a lot of heat on a lot of coaches out there. Right now, namely Hugh Freeze. And, here's where I'll start this morning is, I look at the last four games and the losses, and, everybody asked me after every loss, well, is that it? Is that going to be the last one for him? And then you lead on, and then we all felt like maybe after the way the Missouri game ended that may have been the nail in the coffin, that you might hear something on Sunday. And, all my sources and everybody, we were all talking, and nothing was being said. And you got into the afternoon, it was like, well, probably going to make it another week. And then we get our weekly email from Auburn Athletics about the schedule of practice and our availabilities and all the different things. And you Freeze is on there, and he's going to be available on Monday morning, and he's going to be available, practice. You guys can go to practice on Tuesday, just like business as usual. So here we are arriving at another game, another Saturday against a team that it's just odd. This game, only Auburn can be in a position where they play a team that's actually better than their record, and it's scary. But if you beat them, you go, okay, is that supposed to make everybody happy? Does that change anything about the way I feel about the direction of the program? If you lose the game, it's more of the same, except this time it's not against a top 15 team. It's against a team that was 2-5 that fired their coach a few weeks ago. I don't know. It's just a big bucket of what in the world? It is only Auburn that can be in a position to where you go, we need to win a football game. If we win the football game, what does it do? And if we don't win the game, is it better that we lose? I hate to even go down that path. It's just crazy.
Well, let me take on a little bit more of the host role here, because I want to present maybe three options for you. And you tell me which one, if you were in the administration, that you would choose. One, let Hugh Freeze finish out the season. Let it play out how it does. Don't push DJ Durkin up to the top. Don't allow the coaching staff to hang on without Hugh Freeze there in the leadership role. There's one option. Option two is get rid of Hugh Freeze after this week, going into the SEC schedule knowing that you're 0-5. Let's go ahead and do that. Or three, Brett, decide which coach you're after. Once you get rid of him, you've given yourself a little bit more of an opportunity to go ahead and maybe reach out to the ones which from the back end, Auburn's got to be at least reaching out to the coaches they see as potentials anyway. So my point to you is, which one would you choose? I mean, I try to put myself in the shoes of these leaders, and a very difficult decision to make. I lean right now and just let Hugh Freeze finish this thing out. What does it benefit you? How much benefit does it give you? Because if you give DJ Durkin, then you end up in the Bobby Petrino bucket, or you end up in the bucket the UAB's in, unless you know that you're wanting to give that assistant coach a chance to perform and show that he deserves the head coaching job. Why do that, Brett? So try to just weigh all three of those options out for me.
Okay, I had a feeling this was going to get brought up this morning, so I was prepared. How about that? And you and I didn't even talk about that. I've got a take on this, and it could be conspiracy theory or whatnot, but it kind of encompasses all three things that you just said. So just kind of weigh me out here. DJ Durkin is a former head coach that's a defensive coordinator that his side of the ball has played extremely well this year and last year. Amen. Okay. Lends me to believe that if you get rid of Hugh Freeze, you elevate him to the head coach as an interim. And Auburn has played well enough to win all these games. What if he wins the Arkansas game, which is, again, it ain't like you've accomplished much, but if you win it, it's your first SEC win, whatever. Then Kentucky, we know how bad they are. You go win that game, and then you go on the road. And look, Vanderbilt's great. They are. They're having a great year. They're not some unbeatable team, though. Let's just be honest about it.
They're still Vandy.
They are still Vandy. That is my point. So what if you go up there and win that one? Now you've beaten Vanderbilt, who's been elevated to this top of the mountain because they deserve it. But if you beat them, you're like, oh, God. Then you got Mercer. Now you're down to the Iron Bowl. Now I'm just playing hypothetical on what could happen. Well, what do you do at that point? Okay, if you were to beat Alabama and you've run off 5 in a row, now what do you do? If the powers that be didn't want Durkin to begin with, or really give him a chance, or he's really not a viable option, you don't want to put yourself in that position, because then Auburn people are going to be going, if they don't hire him, then we're off the wagon. You put yourself in that position. Now, if you elevate DJ Durkin to that position and things kind of go along the way they go, no harm, no foul. You gave him an option, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then the third one is, are the people in play in power actually doing due diligence and trying to get somebody lined up that they know that this is inevitable, that this is ending with Hugh Freeze at some point in time? So are they already aligning the stars to get the guy, in some type of informal way to say, I'm coming as the next head coach of Auburn, and at the end of the season or whenever, they're ready to pull the trigger and they're ready to act immediately? Based on previous decisions made by administration at Auburn, I have no faith that that's being done. Okay, I would like to feel like they have a plan in place, but I'm not sure they do. I mean, I remember back when Brian Harsin was hired, everybody was like, well, I don't think they really know who they want to get. And this thing just kept dragging out, remember? And everybody kept saying, how do you not have stuff in place? And then it started going, well, everybody they've gone after has turned them down.
Yep.
You start hearing all those rumors and stuff. So, man, I'm kind of all over the map, but I really kind of side with the fact that I don't feel like if you see Hugh Freeze finish the season, I feel like there's some people in play that don't want DJ Durkin to take that interim role to possibly put themselves in a position similar to what Carnell was in toward the end of that. Like, look, this is no offense to Carnell Williams or anything, but that was all just raw emotion from Auburn fans on a beloved player that came in and did due diligence, beat Texas A&M. That Texas A&M was terrible, by the way. And that game was won on emotion and all that. Then you lose to Mississippi State in overtime the way they did, and then you know, the Alabama game was the Alabama game. But the bottom line was there was no plan there on that, nor did I think, nor did you, nor did anybody else feel like that was the right thing to do, is to make an emotional hire. Now, again, that being said, did they have a plan after that? It apparently, there apparently was a plan to go out and hire Lane Kiffin. And he was going to come, but then the daughter thing and all that. And then, so 1B option was Hugh Freeze, and Auburn landed Hugh Freeze, and now we are where we are. So that just is my summation. I know I kind of went on a diatribe there.
No, I wanted you to, because it's the conversation you have anywhere you go as an Auburn fan right now. I mean, I had it 3 or 4 times yesterday, randomly, with anybody that wanted to talk to me about it. And I agree with you. The way you laid that out, I think, is the thought process going on the back end. You know,
and if he gets the job, Randy, real quick, if he gets the job, if Durkin got the job, then does that affect his ability? I just saw Ronnie make this comment, and I heard somebody yesterday say this, and it was part of what I wanted to say, and I didn't say it. Does it now you're back in the head coaching role? It goes back to your theory and everybody else's theory on hiring play callers. You know, quit hiring play callers as head coaches and go hire a head coach, and you can legitimately hire a defensive and offensive coordinator. Now, if Durkin's having to do all this other stuff, now maybe the defense falls off a little bit. Now maybe everybody goes, well, maybe he ain't that good a coach at it anyway, you know. And, you know, he hasn't gotten the best record as a head coach either. So there's all that's sitting out there too. So there's just a lot that you can go into.
Well, you and I've lived through this before, and it was with Bill Oliver in the late 90s. You know, I think Auburn fans, even though he had that Alabama background, I think Auburn fans loved Bill Oliver. And he was doing a great job on the defensive side. We were just so bad at the end of that tenure, not only with offensive play calling and offense in general, but recruiting, if you remember back during that stretch, and really getting away from what Auburn was known for. So we've lived through this before, and Auburn, instead of advancing Bill Oliver, which it was kind of a perfect storm. I mean, Auburn didn't finish that season with 5 straight wins like you just brought up. I mean, they finished that season kind of the way that it had been going the whole time. I mean, we played hard at the end of that season, but we were no better. We weren't good enough.
You know, we only had, and just to kind of a personal testimony to that, I set the press conference up that morning in Jordan-Hare Stadium to announce Bill Oliver when we got the phone call Friday night that Terry Bowden had talked. I was in media relations, so we had to scramble and get all that set up. But that's exactly, we only had 3 games left on the season, remember? And
but give everybody that don't really remember that, and some of the younger viewers out there that probably, you know, weren't old enough to know what went. How was the thought process then, Brett? Because we could see that happen. I mean, let's say Auburn loses this weekend. We let him go. Durkin, of course, gets the interim role. He'll have, 4 games left. It'll be a lot like that Bill Oliver.
It will. Yep.
What was the thought process at that point?
Well, the thought process is that Terry Bowden had lost the team, and there was a faction of people inside the program that wanted Bill Oliver to be the next coach. And there was a little bit of paranoia, I guess, from Terry Bowden and some of those guys on that side. And it was an odd dynamic because I was there the whole time, and they didn't get along. They did not. It was an odd thing that Terry Bowden knew he had to go hire somebody that was a tough defense. That's where his knock was, is defense was terrible. Offense could score and blah, blah, blah. And then the recruiting dropped off where we were going through the mini Mike running backs, Clifton Robinson and Markeith Cooper and all those guys. So it was kind of starting to get away. Our running game was terrible, if you remember.
It was awful. Damian Craig covered a lot of that.
Well, that's all it was. He masked it. In 98, it was really exposed that nothing had been done when Ben Leard, who happens to be one of my good friends, was brought in and thrown into the fire, unfortunately. I'll never forget seeing Ben at the athletic complex after the Virginia game. And, you know, Virginia came in and beat us 17-0. And I don't think we had – I don't know. It was a terrible offensive performance. And Ben had been beat to hell and back, and I was standing there looking at him, and I was just like, man, I hate it. And he's like, we don't figure out something's going to be a long season. I mean, it's like, and it was. And then the rest of it played out, and then you see what ended up happening. We get Tuberville in 99, and then 2000, you get Rudy Johnson, rest in peace, comes in to help Ben out we go to the SEC championship game against Florida in 2000. So that's kind of how that played out. And then there was a faction of people that didn't want Bill Oliver as the head coach when he, took over. And then at the end of the season, they decide to go in another direction, and then Bill Oliver exits, and then that's how all that kind of played out.
Well, it just feels like this one resembles that a lot, Brett. It really does, because I know that because I'm in and around Auburn so much, and I know that you are too, but I'm living in that community, and people love DJ Durkin. He's given them a lot of reason too, Brett.
Well, he's done a phenomenal job.
He's his rear end off. He's an outstanding recruiter. And the people that live in that community that see what he's doing in that community really, really like him. And so there's going to be a subset of people that's going to be involved in making the decision on who the next head coach is, if that's the direction we've got to go, and they're going to want him. And I do remember Bill Oliver was in the exact same boat. So it's it's hard to say how this thing's going to play out, but I did want to give you an opportunity outside of hosting to kind of lay out your thoughts, because I knew that you had thought it through.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I am with it. I don't, and again, just because you're a good coordinator doesn't mean you're a good coach, head coach. I mean, we've seen it time after time after time. So has DJ Durkin earned the right to have a shot? I don't know. I mean, I don't know that. I mean, he's done his job. He's done his job as a D coordinator. But at the same time, the people that make the decisions at Auburn, they may not feel the same way.
Well, and I hate to keep comparing him to other coaches that Auburn's had, but that feels so much like Gene Chizik.
Right.
It does. If you go back to his Iowa State days, I think he was 5-19 as a head coach there, Brett. We go in knowing that we enjoyed him when he was there. People liked him. There were people inside the program that thought he would be a good fit. And look, we got a national championship out of it, but at the end of it, it had gone about as poorly as it had ever been in my lifetime. I don't even think this year's in comparison to that 2012 team that we put out there on the field. But it feels a lot the same there, doesn't it, Brett? Because I think if you look at DJ Durkin's overall record as a head coach, it kind of resembles what you saw with Gene Chizik. And Gene Chizik's a dynamic coordinator, always was, wherever you put him. He's great at it. But a great example you make there that not all coordinators were made to be head coaches. And I'm not saying DJ Durkin doesn't turn out to be an outstanding head coach. I hope he does one day, and I hope it's at Auburn. But right now, we've got to make a hire that, and I don't know how to do it. I'm glad I'm not in the position to have to do it because it feels like we keep striking out even on potential coaches that I'd be shocked struck out.
Yeah. And so again, I don't know how long this continues on. I don't know that, I don't know when this thing comes to an end for Hugh Freeze. Apparently after 4 losses in a row, one of the worst starts in SEC play in any coach's tenure at Auburn, continues to go down this track. And then you got this Arkansas game that's very intriguing, that we're going to talk about a little bit later on as far as the X's and O's part of it, the strength on the strength. You got Auburn's defense taking on their offense, which is the strengths of both teams, and then you got the weaknesses going against each other. You got their defense against our offense, and so could be very interesting. The game could be very intriguing.
Oh, I think it's gonna be a great game. I don't think either one of us are very good, but I do think both sides of both teams have one side of the ball that's really good, like top of the SEC good. So, and it's differing sides. So before I step away, I definitely wanted to get a quick comment in on the official getting suspended, Brett, or
we can't confirm. Yeah, just can't confirm anything. I mean, the thing is that it's. I had a pretty reliable source with the SEC confirmed that he had been suspended for the rest of the season, but
no comment from the SEC.
And then Faith and I were in a text thread with somebody we're not going to name on here that they had reached out to the SEC to verify, and they made a comment back that they do not comment on personnel matters, which in my mind, and Faith jump in, might as well have been an indictment, correct?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's where that is. And so, yeah, I think and Yellowhammer News broke that, so we'll give cred where cred's due. And then, so here's my thought. If he's indefinitely suspended for the rest of the season, then he's gone. There's no way he's going to come back. And then off the subject, massive breaking news as we go on the air this morning with the NBA and a massive gambling ring that's getting busted right now as we speak by the FBI. Chauncey Billups, I believe, was just arrested. Rozier, the point guard for the Miami Heat, just got arrested in Orlando, and Cash Patel's about to have a press conference. I'm telling you, he's going to rock this. Look, it's just what we all knew was going on. And here's the problem. How much are you going to dig to unveil how awful sports betting and gambling is amongst players? And then the thing coming out yesterday about the NCAA coming up, what is it, Faith? About to allow gambling?
Yeah, so the NCAA allows athletes to bet on pro sports starting November 1st.
I mean, just go ahead and tarnish it all the way down to the bare metal.
I don't know where all of this ends. I'll step aside listening to y'all, but I did want to get a quick comment on the official. Brett,
well,
calls like that with officials, though, with so much riding on games and so much riding on players and the moving around and the transfer portal and NIL and coaches. You know, I put myself in Hugh Freeze's shoes. I mean, barring a few calls here and there and a few drops here and there, we're not having this talk about Hugh Freeze. And that's the profession he chose, so it makes it really difficult. But my gosh, you know, I'm sitting in the stands, and I know y'all were sitting out there on the field. Anyone with a brain knew that ball, when you go back, they were going to come up. I told everybody around me, they're going to have a picture. And it's going to pop up, and the nose of that ball got across the goal line. And it looked like, you know, and when you look up on the big board behind you, Faith, I see you down there taking photos, the big board behind you in that game, it was clear as a bell that the nose of the football had crossed the goal line. And he's sitting there for 10 minutes looking at this, and all of us in the stadium have it stopped at that exact moment. And I don't know how you come back out and you make that call. I think whatever he has coming to him is deserved. You know, I hate it. It's difficult to find good officials, but it's kind of like another, and I'll close with this. You can find it. There's a price point where you can get really good officials involved in high school sports. It just may be 3 times what they're getting paid right now, Brett. You got to be willing to go out there and try to make it a really good career for someone. And maybe that changes things, but when you got this much money going on and you got officiating as bad as we get on Friday nights and Saturdays as often as we get, something's got to happen to fix it. And I don't have the answer for it, but I'll be listening into y'all, and plenty to talk about today. I'll try to get out there and find some stuff on the NBA and send some text y'all's way.
Yep. See you, brother. Appreciate it.
Hi, Randy.
Welcome in, Faith.
Hi.
Good to see you this morning.
Good to see you too.
As we get to laugh at some of the things that we read.
You're telling me, man.
I'm telling you, there's some gentlemen out there, aren't there? There's some big time gentlemen out there. But anyway, here's the thing, and I know we get to some of our partners, and we got a guest coming on here in just a minute.
Yeah.
That we're going to talk about something we're going to be at tomorrow. We're excited about. You know, you look at the integrity of the sport with all this coming down, and, you know, there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there. You and I go down rabbit holes all the time, and it's hard to not do that sometimes. And then you go, well, that's probably a little bit extreme. But then stuff like this comes out, and you go, maybe there is stuff going on behind the scenes. Maybe there is things being altered purposely. And again, that one play doesn't define Auburn's season, but it is worth discussing. And look, somebody commented on my tweet last night that I think is a Tennessee fan. And they said, how about go back and look at the Oklahoma and he had no dog in the
That's what I was wondering too, though, did they not? I know they came out with a statement, but the statement doesn't mean anything if there's no repercussions.
That's it. I mean, there's no transparency here. And to me, that part makes it even worse, is that we're just going to handle this. And if something as major as an official that's been a part of that organization for so long has been suspended indefinitely, you need to give a little bit more detail about what's going on. You can't just say, well, we don't discuss personnel matters, because like I told you and somebody else we were in a group text with last night, this is the integrity of the sport at this point. This is not just about some guy in a personnel matter. This is like, hey, really, what's going on here? And why did Birmingham confirm all this stuff? And then you had all these complaints, but somebody else's butt should be on the line.
That's what I asked last night. I was like, if it goes up to Birmingham, I'm just confused on, obviously, Ken Williamson is responsible for some of it, but if it goes up to Birmingham and they talk about it up there,
that's kind of my deal. I mean, who was at the helm and backed that up? And this is where all the conspiracy theories start to roll. You know,
because if they were doing it like the ACC does, and you can hear them and they talk about it and all those kind of things, that's one thing, right? But they don't do that in the SEC. And Reese has talked to me a lot about all these conspiracy things, and I didn't think too much of it. And the more and more things just start unraveling, and the more he talks to me about, especially in the NFL and in
it's corrupt, Faith. It's corrupt.
Football, it really is just becoming more apparent that there is Vegas behind it, or there is just money behind it.
There's too much money involved. There's too much under the table stuff involved for it not to be, some of it not to be rigged. I hate people that just going to get on here and go, "Oh, I can't believe he's like." I'm just telling you. I'm not saying everybody is corrupt. I'm just saying that there's a lot of fixes and a lot of things that go on, and I would not be shocked at all. So we're going to take a pause from that for just a second, because we do have our guest ready, and we're going to bring Cardi in. And Cardi, good to see you this morning. How you doing, brother?
Good. I'm living well. I'm blessed.
That's good. Well, Cardi, Faith and I are glad to have you on this morning. We're excited about an event that we were invited to last year.
Yes.
I was able to get there, and then we'll be over again tomorrow. It is the Iron Bowl of fishing going on. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Cardi. You're a member. Tell everybody who you are and what we're going to talk about this morning for a little bit.
Awesome. So I'm a senior at Auburn University. This is my third year doing this event. So this is Hooks for Hope. This is a killer event. Basically, it's all about the meaning behind it, right? So this is really to raise money for kids in Haiti, and we get to fish to do it. So donors come and donate money to come fish off of our boats against Alabama. Alabama brings 5 boats. We bring 5 boats. We fish all morning. We always kick Alabama's butt, which is probably my favorite part. And it's just a great time. The donors get to learn a lot of things about fishing. We're fishing on historical waters. These are Ray Scott's personal ponds. Ray Scott, if you don't know, he's the original owner of Bass. Bass, if you're a fisherman, is the greatest of greatest. The organization, it's where you want to fish. It's awesome. It's been a dream of mine since I was a little kid, so this has been awesome. Every year has been flawless. Every year, everyone's left with smiles on their faces. This is an amazing event.
You guys kicked Alabama's butt last year. I was there for it. Exciting. Yes. Faith's going to be making the trip with me tomorrow. Awesome. I just got to ask I fish. We're bringing our boat tomorrow, so I'm excited about it before we do our show from down there. So let's talk some fishing, Cardi. Yeah. And we're not going to give anything away because we don't want the enemy over there to have any tips, but kind of talk about some techniques and things you guys are going to be doing tomorrow.
Well, I'm honestly not even scared to give Bama my playbook. They can have it. I'm not worried. No,
I love it.
They're throwing a small curveball at us this year. We might be switching ponds. So that might change up a couple things. I don't know how much. I know very well how to catch bass in the original pond, but this new one could be different. This new one is supposed to be all female bass, which if y'all don't know is kind of a different concept. It's very different, but female bass grow larger than males.
Yes.
So I'm going to be upping my bait presentation. I'm going to be fishing quicker. I'm going to be fishing more aggressive. I'm thinking something like a chatterbait, a big jig in all that wood, a big Texas rig, a spinner bait. Those should be killer. I'd like to even be able to throw a topwater earlier in the morning. Just because,
nice, wouldn't it?
Just because why not? It'll be fun. I know a lot of people these days, we're going to, I don't know if you know much about what they call young kids our age, what they call scopers. We got scope. I know a lot of guys.
I got scope on my boat. I know all about it, man. So.
And there's scopers, but I like to call them catchers. A lot of guys our age catch bass, and a lot of them.
They do.
So I will definitely be looking at scope and seeing what the lake's giving to me. It's giving me some instant feedback, so I can go and adjust to that quickly. So I'm pretty excited.
So what does this mean for some of the donors and just the programs and how y'all are raising money and awareness? How does all that work for people that don't know?
Yeah, so it's really sweet. So the donors are usually Auburn fans. You get Auburn and Alabama fans. So that just adds to the passion behind the whole project. It's someone who wants to learn about fishing. Luckily, our program knows a lot about fishing. It's what we do. It's what I'm best at. And the cherry on top and the reason all behind it is for Hooks for Hope. The organization is Children's Hope. And we're raising awareness, raising money for underprivileged kids in Haiti. So we've done it 3 years now. I think it's gotten bigger after every year. I think the donors understand that their money no one's donating just to fish. Everyone's donating for a cause, for a reason. We also, Auburn at Bass Fishing themselves, we put links in our bio so we can go donate money, and that adds to the total weight. So you can tell that the real reason and real cause behind all of this is a greater cause. It's the Lord's cause, and it's beautiful.
That's awesome.
That is awesome, Cardi. We appreciate you jumping on this morning to talk about this. We will be there tomorrow.
Awesome.
You get some fishing in. Faith's been trash talking me. She said she's going to kick my butt out there. So
I think she will.
No, I figured you'd side with her. But anyway, we're going to be a little competition out there. It'll be fun. Then we'll do our show live from there at noon tomorrow. So we're excited about that. And it looks like the weather's going to be perfect. It's going to be perfect. It's always, hey, look, it doesn't matter if it's pouring rain. It's always a good day to
always
fish.
Perfect. Right. You're going to be all right.
Exactly. So I haven't been able to fish in quite a while like I used to because I'm so busy all the time. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited about it and excited to get the Phoenix out there and start looking around and see what we can catch. And again, just knowing what's in those lakes down there is any cast could be a 10-pounder.
Yep,
absolutely. That's
the thing. They're swimming in there for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, but Cardi, again, we will see you guys tomorrow over there, and looking forward to it. And no pressure, y'all just go beat Alabama again, okay?
I appreciate it. Hopefully we can keep the streak going.
Absolutely. Cardi, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Have a good day. War Eagle. All right, it's Cardi showing with the Auburn Bass team and national championships. Yes, MS, let's party with Cardi tomorrow. How about that? That's what we're going to do. So that's going to be a fun event, Faith. We're excited about going down there. Paula, our good friend, and everybody that's involved in that is, anytime you get Auburn and Alabama together, it doesn't matter if you play in chess or checkers or whatever, you want to beat them. So it's going to be a fun day tomorrow.
Even if you're not going down there to fish and you're just there to watch, donate some money, Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine is going to be out there grilling some hot dogs and hamburgers. So make sure you go and see Jeff. I know that we're excited for that part of it too.
He's going to be cooking. We're going to get a double dose of Jeff.
2 days in a row.
Right.
I'm just.
Does it get much better than that? Hey, at least the good Lord saying, hey, for all that y'all have had to endure with this football season, we're going to provide you with some good food. at least. And so we're very
That's
thankful.
just Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine, and that's why everybody needs to go out there and support Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine because they're so generous and so amazing.
They are, and we haven't talked about any of our partners yet, so I'm going to stop and we're going to talk about a few of them.
Sensagreen for air that's cool and clean this fall during dollar days. Call Sensagreen for major discounts on HVAC repairs and installs, plus insulation with Professor Greenbacks. Get HVAC smart at sensagreen.com through Thanksgiving with up to $100 off HVAC repairs, $500 off insulation work, and $1,500 off a new HVAC system. Sensagreen with Carrier, turn to the experts. How cool are these coupons?
Scout Program Management, located in Birmingham, Alabama, and they are a tremendous organization. They handle pre-construction all the way to the finished product. And when you're working with contractors and you have millions of dollars on the line, you need somebody that knows what they're doing. And I've watched it firsthand. I'm telling you. So if you're an educational entity out there, a school system, a municipality, they're the ones you need to contact and hire. They're going to make sure you get what you're paying for. So call and Scout Program Management. Check them out online. You'll be glad that you did. Great friends over there at Scout.
Bunkers in downtown Auburn. With this away game, you might as well go to Bunkers and watch the game. They've got 2 bars, perfect for what you might go through there. And they've got some great food too. So if you're going to be there drinking a lot, get some food. They've got great deals, great specials. And that's how you want to spend your game day.
Yeah, I mean, you can't control the outcome of the game. Not the
stadium price drinks.
Yeah, no kidding. Bunkers is the place to be. Just telling you. It's great food. Like you said, everything there is wonderful. We love it. All right, back to what we were discussing, the game, and then we'll talk more about this. Now, we'll have a recorded podcast tomorrow, everybody, because obviously we got to get up really early to get to South Alabama for the fishing tournament between Auburn and Alabama. So, but we got to get down there because, you got to be there when it's time to start fishing. And so you got to be up early. So we'll have a recorded podcast. We'll talk more about the Auburn Arkansas game, X's and O's stuff in the morning. But looking at this matchup, Faith, and just kind of getting your take on this, and I titled the podcast, "What Does a Win Do?" or "A Win Does What?" for Auburn. What does a win do here, in your opinion?
Nothing. I think it does more for Petrino than it does Auburn at all if Arkansas loses.
I'm with you. I've seen a scenario where it's like Bobby Petrino has been close in the last 2 games, and then if he gets over, even though it's a bad Auburn team record-wise, it's not as bad. People are like, just like the thing that you said the other day, like there's some people saying, well, Auburn's not really 0-4 in the SEC because they got screwed by the officials. Now, then all this comes out about the officials. You're like, okay.
But it doesn't change your record when you go and look at it. It doesn't matter. So what if the officials.
Right. And still Auburn had chances in those games to win those games even with those calls, and they didn't do it. So, but bottom line is if Petrino's able to pull off a win against Auburn, that he and some people there that back Bobby Petrino will have a little bit more oomph and power to push him into that permanent role. Because really, you and I have talked about how many coaches are going to be, or how many positions are going to be open come at the end of the season. There are already some open now, and everybody's going to be vying for, the next best coach. And Arkansas's going, do we really want to get in that rat race? Can we go out there and compete and get, or do we have the guy already on staff that we just need to elevate again to be the head coach? And I think that there's a faction of Arkansas people that want that.
Yeah, there's no question about it. It doesn't do anything for Auburn. Does it prolong Hugh Freeze's stay at Auburn?
At this point, I don't know what could hurt or help him, to be honest, because as you sit here at 0-4 in SEC play, we all kind of felt that something might happen on Sunday, and it didn't. And then you and I got the email from Auburn Athletics that, Hugh Freeze would be there on Monday for his press conference, and things are business as normal. So, I mean, does a loss to Arkansas mean that much of is it that big of a deal at this point? You're going to just say, look, we're anchored in, and we're going to ride it out for the rest of the season, and then we'll make a decision then. So, who knows? I kind of laid out my scenario at the beginning of the podcast with Randy this morning. Does Auburn want to put themselves in a position to elevate DJ Durkin to interim coach and then him go on some run here, and then they be pressured to hire him when they really don't want to hire him? I'm just being hypothetical, and I don't know. I have no facts on that. That's just me stabbing in the dark. But it just seems to feel like if you were going to go ahead and do something, you would have done it after the Missouri game, and then try to go ahead and prepare. But you know what? They may pull a shocker and get rid of him after the Arkansas game if Auburn were to lose that game. So on Saturday. So I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. Nobody has a beat on it. I think, we're just all going to have to wait and see. And that's where we are.
We're all just in the same place of there's nothing more to say. There's nothing more that we can.
Right.
Because we don't know any more than everybody else. We see everything circulating just like everybody else does.
And everybody
we don't
gets
have any facts like anybody.
You're right. And then all of us in the media get everything about the same time. So you see everything kind of come out, everybody's outlet kind of post it. So John said, Brett and Faith, if there is a head coach change, what are your thoughts about Glenn Schumann, Georgia defense coordinator? And look, I said this earlier. I think Auburn's got to quit hiring coordinators. I think that, and I think that's another thing that makes people apprehensive about DJ Durkin. Just because you're a good defensive coordinator doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be a good head coach. And I know you got to start somewhere. I know you got to move your way up to elevate, but I don't think Auburn's in a position anymore to be taking chances on whether this guy is going to be a next good head coach or not. You got to have somebody that's been, even if it's a younger head coach at a smaller program, that has already been through the fire and the fray, maybe 3 or 4 years. And then you go, okay, that guy has done this, and I like his structure, and I like his methods of how he runs a program. If you're just an OC or DC, you've never run a program before. So and I just don't think Auburn's in a position, Faith, to be learning on the fly anymore. They need to get somebody that's proven. And I know everybody
get somebody that has a hold of themselves, who can have respect from players, who can have respect from other coaches, other programs too. People that go out there and just respect who it is. And
I was just about to say that, Justin. I know Hugh and Harsin weren't coordinators, but the bottom line is, in the next part I was going to talk about, is the personality. Harsin might as well have been a coordinator. I mean, Harsin he's such an outlier. He was so unfamiliar with the lay of the SEC in this area of the country. He thought he could just do what he did at Boise State down here at Auburn, and just, I guess, sit in his office and expect people to just walk through the door. And where you actually have to go out and fight for recruits and prove that you got, even though your program is way bigger and it's a bigger deal, you got to go out and fight. Hugh was a second chance guy. Okay. So in my mind, it's like he's at Liberty. Everybody thought he had been outcast from the SEC permanently. Auburn gives him a second chance. I'm tired of the second chances, and I'm tired of the coordinators. So let's go get a guy that's proven, like in that has at least been a head coach for a few years at a program, and can show a resume of, hey, this is my plan and this is how I want to do it when I get there. And I think there needs to be a personality change from that guy. It needs to be somebody with a little fire, like Brian Harsin, bland. Hugh Freeze, bland. Gus Malzahn, just a little fire, but just kind of bland. Can we get somebody that does have a little bit of oomph about them, and that I had somebody tell me Saturday, said, "Man, I'm tired of us getting bullied by the opposing sideline." And then you start to look at it and it's like, yeah, you're right. You know, you need to have somebody that is going to fight for your program and your team over there and has as much fire as the guy across the way, whether it be Kirby or Eli or whoever the heck it is. So that you're coaching against. So I don't know. That's just my take.
When Friday night we saw the high school game, Benjamin Russell game, there was definitely umph and fight on the Benjamin Russell sideline because you had Kirk getting furious, and somebody that even a high school game where you want to stand up for your boys and you want to stand up for your team and what it means to be a Wildcat, you know, where at Auburn, if you're getting bullied on the sideline at home,
and the coin toss in overtime, by the way.
Right. It's hard to be scared to go play there at Jordan-Hare or scared to do anything because you don't have any sort of fire or umph or anything that gets the kids fired up. And that's why you said earlier, there needs to be a culture change. There needs to be some sort of alteration of what is this program here for? Honestly, I think it needs to go back to before transfer portal and NIL, of that mentality and mindset of this is why I'm here. This is what I came here to do. I have a job to do, instead of, well, I can get paid even if I'm not starting and I go and I just have to sit and wait. I'm still getting paid either way. It doesn't matter if I go out there and perform, or it doesn't matter if I go out there and get better.
And I agree. I think the other part of this is that we continuously get hit with people every day is, what about who's leaving? You know, are we going to lose Cam, or are we losing Deuce? And I mean, look, here's the deal. You can't worry about that right now, you know, in the moment. Do you want to lose any of those players? No, you don't. Will you lose some of them? I hope not. You possibly could. Look, they don't know what the future of Auburn is either. How can they make a decision about what they want to do right now when they don't know what the outcome of this coaching situation is going to be? Is it going to be Freeze staying on for another year? You know, and then if he is, how many of those guys are committed to what's going on right now and want to leave because he's staying, or how many would leave because you get rid of you, Freeze? And they go, well, look, I came there to be with him and that coach staff, and now it's going to be different. I'm going somewhere else. Everybody's got to make a decision now based on what they feel like is best for them. And I hate to say it that way, but no, Auburn doesn't want to lose, or fans don't want to lose Deuce Knight or Cam Coleman or Malcolm Simmons or anybody for that matter on the team that's a really good player and it's a contributor. But it's the world we live in. And so hopefully whoever the guy is, if it's Hugh Freeze continuing on and things start to turn around here Saturday and we see some semblance of, you know, some type of hope, or you decide to move in another direction, you got to have trust that guy's going to come in and be able to recruit at a high level and be able to convince players on the roster and new recruits that, hey, you need to come play here. We're going to get this thing back. Now, you just can't worry about that right now in October.
Yeah, you're right. Because even I brought that up, you know, a couple of weeks ago, and you told me, it's just not what we need to worry about yet. But it is naturally now something that you worry about and you start thinking about. And that's where the agenda comes in of, all right, Cam Coleman needs 15 targets. Eric Singleton needs 7, this, that, and the other. And that's just completely defeating.
You know, and what good is that if you're a player, though, Faith, if you're the wide receiver and you go, you know, I need to be targeted at least 12 times a game, and you get those 12 targets and you make 6 or 7 catches a game, and that's great, but you're losing every game. Is that fun? Is that fun? You know, I know from a personal standpoint, you're trying to build stats and you're trying to show the country that you're an elite player and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, we even had players tell us that, you know, what keeps you motivated? Well, your personal resume. You can't just – people are still watching how you react to things and how you handle situations. And so do you lay down? Do you quit when it gets tough, or do you keep grinding the same way? So, yeah, there is personal motivation that keeps players playing for at a high level and keeps them from checking out. But I don't want to be on a losing team, first of all, as a competitor. It should be team first and then me second. But I know there's a lot of difference in culture now and things. But even if I'm getting my due, even if I'm catching 6-7 passes, or I'm getting 20 carries a game for 110 yards and my team's losing, I'm still miserable. And so I think from a culture standpoint, I think all of these – we saw it in the Baylor game. I didn't see any receivers moping around. Did you?
No. They seemed still on fire that they were able to get the running game going and do what they needed to do, even though they weren't being targeted.
Right. And all we all talked about in the media all season was, can't wait to see these wide receivers. Can't wait to see how Auburn throws the ball and blah, blah, blah. And then you come out and you do what you did against Baylor and you primarily run it because the defense gave you that look and Auburn took advantage of it. I didn't see Cam or Malcolm or Eric Singleton or Horatio Fields or anybody else over there in the corner moping around going, man, I know we won, but I didn't get it. I didn't get but like
He
two
was
passes.
one of the ones that actually came out during the post-game presser and even said, I was just proud that they were doing what they were doing and it was working, and my time will come. And when my time comes, I'll be able to go out there and light it up. Yeah,
no doubt. So, we'll see. I mean, we'll talk more about the game itself tomorrow, and you can continue like tomorrow. Get your predictions in. Faith will announce who the past week's winner was tomorrow. So make sure you tune us in. It will be a recorded one, so we won't be able to interact with you live, but we will be on in the morning at 8:00. So get your predictions in, and Faith will go back and pull those out of the comments so we can see them. So, but anyway, a couple more of our partners here on the program before we get off, and we really appreciate them. Old Number One Customs, for any remodel or building project that you have, 334-752-6162. They will handle it for you, and they do phenomenal work. You can check it out on my Instagram and my Facebook page, the remodel of our master bathroom. It's awesome. I know a lot of people love outdoor living spaces, and they do phenomenal work on outdoor living spaces. If you're thinking about adding that to your house or your property, you need to check out Old Number One Customs, and they can do it for you.
JFA Blue Plumbing, go ahead and get the Home Atlas Water Filter Duo. It's so important to have filtered water throughout your entire house and every single faucet in your house. Doesn't matter if it's the water that's running in your shower or your drinking water, because filtered water can damage all different types of things, whether it's your tile, bathtub, toilets, anything, your internal health, external health. So calling them at 844-JFA-BLUE. Oliver Ross, you're going to need a tailgate bartending service for the rest of these games. So call in Oliver Ross, or if you've got a wedding or date party, sorority, fraternity, anything like that, Oliver Ross can handle from 20 people up to 20,000 people. So call in Oliver Ross and make sure that they are a part of any kind of tailgate or social event that you have.
And Russell Medical Center, a big city healthcare in a small town environment, and rated one of the top 3 hospitals here in the state of Alabama. And again, if you're looking for top-notch medical care, you need to check out Russell Medical Center. Partnered with UAB Health in Alexander City, great connections. That line to UAB in Birmingham is priceless. So they're going to have the best possible healthcare for you and options for you if you go to Russell Medical Center. And again, you don't have to fight the big city. You can go to a small town and get big city healthcare right in Alexander City. We appreciate them so very much. John already said 31-30. What do we want for our tiebreaker, Faith, on Saturday?
I don't know. I came up with the one last week.
All right, let me think. Tiebreaker will be, all right, you got number of punts by Auburn in this game. How many times will Auburn punt? This is a bad bad defense for Arkansas. So if Auburn's punting a lot, that is really bad. So how many punts for Auburn in this game is the tiebreaker?
Okay, I like that.
So John said, if a change happens, who do we? I don't want to even really talk about that right now. To be honest, I don't know that I have somebody that I would put in there. So we'll talk about that maybe as time moves on. MS said Gut says Petrino wins his job, provides the final nail, and yep, could be. Or is the final nail already been placed and we just don't know it, regardless of what happens in this game. So, and will Hugh Freeze be around at the Iron Bowl? That's the biggest question. So we'll check it out. We'll see. We'll be here for you every day, giving you the latest. And we jumped on that Ken Williamson story yesterday. Again, that was bizarre. It's bizarre to really not have had anything come out confirmed by the SEC, but silence is confirmation a lot of times, and everybody reporting it now and everybody pushing it out. And then the couple of sources that I had, Faith, yesterday that we would both consider very reliable said, yeah, that happened. So anyway, that's what we're here for. We're here to push that out and let you guys know about it. And of course, Yellowhammer News broke that story. And then we jumped into the scene to try to confirm it because no major news outlet or anybody was really reporting it, but it was massive news. And there's so many, that's another thing too. And I'll end with this. You have to dig when you see something break. When we broke the thing about Malcolm Simmons, going to be, fine to be back on the team and all, and that blew up. We were the first to report that, Faith, and everybody was jumping on that and retweeting our stuff, and people were saying, man, is that true? Is that true? Blah, blah, blah. And then it comes out. But people have to do their due diligence. You just can't run. You got a bunch of junk AI articles and crap that comes out now and a bunch of fake stuff that you don't know. So you have to be a little bit more, I guess. Yeah, exactly. A little bit more reserved and making sure you know what you're doing and what you're saying. So James with his prediction. James has been on a heater. Arkansas 24, Auburn 24 punts. So there we go. Unfortunately, as good as James has been on predictions. So, John, go to our social media. We've got a link to the Yellowhammer story there. I'm not going to go all the way through that as we're about to get off here. So, but bottom line is apparently Ken Williamson, the head official for the Auburn, Georgia game, was suspended indefinitely. So that's it. So just go check it out. Yeah, it's everywhere. I don't know how you hadn't seen it. So we'll have more on it as we hear as well. So Faith, you got anything else this morning?
Mike asked if we're going to Arkansas. No, we are not. This is the first road game we're not going to. So we will be doing our post-game reaction show brought to you by Pepper Tree Steaks and Wines at Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. So really excited about that. We
hit the jackpot there. No doubt about it.
2 days in a row.
2 days in a row, going to have Pepper Tree. And then, so yeah, our post-game show will go on as normal. And this time we will be at our partner's establishment. We will be in the building.
It's not going to be 12:30 at night.
I will much rather be in Pepper Tree than in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I can tell you that. We'll be giving you, we may even jump on as the game is coming to an end.
Yeah.
And it just depends on when we get set up and all that. But of course, we will be there ready to go post-game reaction brought to you by Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine on Saturday. We appreciate all of you out there that watch us every week. And so make sure you continue to do that. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, then you're not getting the notification that when we go live that we're on. So go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. A lot of you have done that already, and we appreciate it so very much. All right, Faith, you send us out.
I hope everybody has the best day ever.
Absolutely. Go be nice to people. Do good things out there, and we will catch you tomorrow morning for another episode of the Auburn Blitz. Have a good day.